Here are the ingredients for the red and green shakshuka. So we have a green onion, a yellow onion, 8 ounces of Brussels sprouts, 6 pastured eggs, 2.5 ounces or 2 cups of baby spinach, this is organic, extra virgin olive oil, organic kale 8 ounces, crushed red pepper flakes, some harissa paste, roasted garlic that I roasted earlier and have kept that in the fridge, sweet paprika, cayenne, cumin, coriander. I like fire roasted crushed tomatoes. You can use regular roasted. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with our prep. The Brussels sprouts need to be trimmed and thinly sliced. Trimmed means I like to take off the stem. These grow on a stalk, and when they're harvested, they leave a little bit of the stalk or the stem that connects it to the stalk, and I like to take that off because it can be kind of tough. And they just thinly trim these. So make sure your knife is sharp, and I sharpen the knife every time I use it. I will show you shortly about how to sharpen the knife, how I use it. That's about how I like them. Okay, that's it for the sprouts. Now the kale that I'm using is a bagged, pre-washed, pre-chopped kale. But what I will do is I will go through and I'll pick out these hard stems because I don't want these hard stems. You do this a few times, you'll pick out the ones that have the stem attached. It's usually the thicker, bigger leaf. The more curly leaf won't likely have the heavy stem on it. And I'm not going to chop this kale anymore because it's going to cook down quite considerably, as will the spinach. I will give the spinach a couple of chops just to make the bites a little smaller. So when chopping spinach, it's really good to, that piece is wilted, it's really good to bunch it all together. And you can give it a nice coarse chop. There's your spinach. So I'll coarse chop a few more pieces and I'll leave the others like that. So just bunch it all together. This is how I'll do the parsley later too for the garnish. I'll just bunch it and you got a coarse chop. There we go. Now here's the onion. I have the onion, I peeled it, I've cut half of it up for another dish, for another video, but I will chop this onion for the shakshuka. So to chop an onion, I like to make several chops. Cut it in half first, make several chops vertically. Then hold the onion still and run the knife halfway through it, and then slice down, and you've got nice chopped onion that's already chopped, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time chopping it. There you go. I've chopped, there's a 1/4 cup of onion right there already chopped. And then for the other half, same way. It's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it will get away from you. And so what I like to do is just run a knife a couple times through there. And there, I've got my onion ready. Now for the garlic, 3 cloves of garlic. You can use the jarred minced garlic, or I've roasted this a few days ago. I've had it stored. I roasted a couple of heads of garlic, and this is the last of it. I've been using it So yeah, it's not 3, it's a little bit more, but it's okay. Roasted garlic is really good and sweet. This is going to be minced, but because it's roasted, it's going to be very gooey. I don't know if you can see the sugar, but that's all sugar that has come out of the garlic. So I'm going to just mince this a little, but then I'm just going to run the edge of my knife over the garlic and basically make a paste. That way, that garlic will meld completely into the dish. Here's the green onion. Just gonna cut it. Use the white and the green. Just small little cuts. Okay, that's the prep work for the shakshuka. We'll be getting it into the frying pan shortly. Okay, I am ready to get started. I've got the pan hot. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can see the pan's hot. The olive oil is dancing. It's starting to smoke a little. And I will go ahead and get the oil mixed and add the Brussels sprouts. I want to get a little char on the Brussels sprouts. As those are crisping, I'll add a little, I like pink Himalayan sea salt. Typically you would get the onions and garlic going first, but the Brussels tend to need a little bit longer to cook to get the char, and you don't want to overcook the onions, so we'll put those in after. You can see the sprouts have charred a little. That's what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking for. I like a char on the Brussels sprouts. And adding the kale little by little as it cooks down. Steaming a little more. See the bright green? I'm going to be cooking the kale until it turns to bright green. I don't want it wilted completely down. I want it to still have some firmness, al dente. I want it wilted down just so that it's bright green. That is ready for the spinach. And I'm going to go ahead and add the onion and garlic now. Get that started. Let that get hot, then I'll add the spinach. Here's our spinach. Give that a minute to wilt. Okay, the spinach is starting to wilt. I'm going to go ahead and now add the seasonings that we talked about in the beginning. Add the tomatoes. Those are the tomatoes. Going to let some of the tomato juice cook off. Going to add half the lemon juice, the juice of half a lemon. Forgot to mention that in the prep. And then 2 teaspoons of the harissa paste. I'm going to mix that. Too bad you don't have smell-o-vision because it smells amazing. Okay. Okay, now the eggs are ready. Everything is cooked, heated through. I'm going to cover this and let the eggs poach. I want the whites set, the yolks glazed over, and the yolk still running. For the garnish, I'm going to take some parsley, pull off the leaves, destem it, and then chop it. There are the eggs are still a little liquid. The whites are still a little liquid. So I'll give that a moment. It's close. Okay, the eggs are ready. What I did wrong is I didn't cook off enough of the tomato juice. So it's a little bit soupier than I like, so it's probably not going to plate as pretty. But I'll go ahead and get it plated. And here it is plated.